All right, friends, do you ever feel like when you leave a session, you're like on high, you're super excited, everything went right, the clients showed up perfectly, they followed the style guide, they listened to all your tips, what to wear, what shoes to wear, it's like the perfect weather, there's like a slight breeze, it's 67 degrees, it's like everything went right. And then you have those sessions where everything goes wrong. They show up in the wrong clothes. It's 100 degrees. The humidity is high. You had to choose a different location because the first location got rained out. You weren't on your A game. You felt off, whether you weren't feeling good or something happened in your family and you were just like mentally not present. That's what happened to me. 5 years in, this kind of session and this kind of situation still unfortunately happens every now and then. No matter how much I prepare, no matter how long I've been doing it, it still sometimes ends up like a hot mess. But the most important thing is that you do everything that you can control, praising them, making them feel comfortable, making them feel loved, making them feel beautiful, the client experience, delivering their gallery on time or before time, and just really trying to just control the things that you can only control. I'm really excited to show you this because this was probably in my whole career, the number one session that I left and I was like, what just happened? Like, did I even get any good shots? Are these gonna come out okay? And so excited for you to watch. You'll still be learning quite a bit. I'm going to be coaching you throughout the session. I'm going to be showing you lighting, location, some tips about that, my camera, my settings. And hopefully you can still learn something. But most importantly, the fact that this couple loved their images. They posted their images. They left a raving review. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So enjoy this behind the scene look at probably the most hot mess engagement session I have ever done. And then I'll see you at the end and kind of give you the rest of the story. So enjoy.
Hello, photographers. I wanted to do a location scouting video, like a real life one. I have an engagement session here in the beautiful Watson, where, that's being totally sarcastic, but so I am just in like a random field, and the first thing that I'm going to do is, number one, honestly, the first thing that I did was to check, because it's rained, like downpoured every single day this week, so I've just been walking around checking for muddy puddles, but it's actually pretty dry, so I'm really happy about that. Second thing, obviously, it's really the first thing, but the second thing that I am now looking forward is to find the sun, and it's going in and out of clouds, like right there behind me, which is awesome because that means that I'm gonna get some diffused backlighting right here. I brought my reflector, but I'm really happy because look at the grass. It's the long flowy grass, and so that's going to help break up the sunlight and have just a lot more even light bounce back into their face. Another thing that is really, really cool is not only are we in, so you see like we're in shade, like I'm standing in shade right here. That line signals that the sun is right over there, right? But I'm in open shade. When I look up, I see the sky. But the really cool thing about this spot is all of the open sky that's going to be in front of my clients. It just goes on and on and on. And what that is, it's going to be that secondary fill light that's going to help illuminate their face. And that's why, even though I'm going to flip my camera around, if there's Thomas, if you look, this location really doesn't look all that awesome. But what's going to make this location awesome is the fact that I've checked off all of my lighting and location boxes. So if you can see Thomas, can you walk this way a little bit? He's our model. If you can see Thomas, you can see the light on the back of his head. I don't know if y'all can see just the little rays of light on the back of his head. That's going to be like amplified with my low aperture. It's going to be that glowy effect. And if you notice, the grass is long and flowy, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. We're in open shade, but if you can tell, the ground is diffused backlighting thanks to these two trees right here. And so the sun is behind the trees, creating diffused backlighting, because it's going to be behind our clients. We're in open shade, because if Thomas looks up, he sees the sky. There's no trees or anything over him. And then if what's going to be in front of my clients is all of this open sky, which is going to be huge in helping me create those pretty skin tones that I like and that glowy skin that I like. So we're probably going to be doing the entire session just right here. Now I'm going to be shooting, I have my 85mm on because it's just very, very dreamy. And I can shoot at a pretty low aperture and get really sharp. My clients in really sharp focus. And so I've already like pre-done my settings, like before I was even at home. And since it's humid, if you notice my little cheekies here, I'm like already sweating because it's so humid. I went ahead and took off my lens cap so that my glass on my lens can get acclimated to the humidity, because if you keep the lens cap on and then take it off last minute, you might fog up your lens. And so my settings that I already done before I even got here, I'm going to test it again on Thomas, but I just need to like point out, I don't know if y'all can tell this like sunshine, it's hard to see, but like this is going to be beautiful in her blonde hair. Thomas doesn't have blonde hair, but it's going to be really, really pretty with hers. But anyways, my settings, I have my aperture set at 2.0. My ISO set is set at 800, even though I might need to tweak it a little bit because the sun is out. I didn't expect the sun to be out. And then I put my shutter speed, I just put it at like 1/1000th of a second, just as like kind of like a middle ground, because I'm not quite sure, when I meter to 0, like where my shutter speed is going to be. I went ahead and changed my white balance to Kelvin, because this morning I don't know if you hear that siren, but that's very annoying. This morning I used the Expo disc, so I was using custom white balance, but now I'm using Kelvin. It's just easier to control outside, outdoors. I feel like I get a more accurate color and white balance when I use Kelvin outside. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to go over. I do have my reflector. Thankfully, I brought it. It was cloudy all day. The sun literally just came out, and so I'm really, 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 really excited. Can you open that for me? I bought my Elastilite triangle reflector, and so this is gonna be, I'm just gonna probably hold this most of the entire time and use it underneath my camera, just like this as I'm shooting. Thomas is gonna be filming this entire session for the posing course, so I can go through my entire engagement session posing system for our posing course students. But while we were here a little bit early, I wanted to do this for my one-on-one students, so you can kind of know how I choose locations, how I find the good light, and kind of my process before they show up. So what is your Kelvin at right now? I set it at 5200 because that's just, I'm gonna probably tweak it once I like shoot this guy and kind of get my settings together before they show up. So as soon as they show up, I can kind of go through the system. But I set it automatically at 5200 because that's kind of the outdoor Kelvin temperature that you can start out with, and then from there you go, down and up depending on if your LCD screen is telling you your picture is too blue or too orange. So, alrighty guys.
It's a bad dress choice.
No, it's perfect.
Oh my god, you look so good.
Where'd you get your dress?
Lulu's.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of small. Okay. I'm just gonna, as long as we don't sit, we're good.
It's fine. We don't have to sit. We don't have to sit.
All right, here is Maddie and Devin's engagement session. And as you can see, the light is really, really pretty. But I'm already getting a little nervous because her dress is really tight. And she just said that her dress was way too small and that she didn't want to sit. So I'm already a little bit nervous going into it. So this is kind of like the beginning of the hot mess session that you're about to see.
We have like the trailer or the dumpster or anything. We're going to kind of hang out.
I was looking this way. I was like,
General area. So yeah. Anyways, it's gonna be really, really pretty, and I'm so excited. The sun, like when the sun comes through the trees, it just like makes.
And this is a big pro tip. Make sure the groom or the dude in your session empties his pockets. We don't need any unnecessary bulges where they do not belong.
We won't be.
And so I always tend to like offer that and put it in my bag because they didn't obviously bring any kind of bag. So definitely offer that and encourage that at the beginning of the session.
Okay, well first off, y'all nailed, like this looks so good. Like the shirt's perfect for your outfit.
Yeah, it took me a minute.
yeah.
Well, it's
I had this, I just didn't know the stripes would be fine.
No, it's be fine. You're not even really see them. They're perfect. And your khakis look great, your shoes look great, your dress is amazing. I love it. So my first thing I want to say is don't worry about anything. I'm going to coach you through everything.
Okay.
We're going to do like kind of like in between portrait poses and then like some playful stuff.
Okay.
I know we got a ton of like playful stuff at the lifestyle session, but we're still going to do like a few things, whatever your dress will allow. Do.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so I'll do all the work for you. Y'all look
Okay.
amazing. You look beautiful, Devin. So my little modeling tip for you is to keep your hands in your pockets unless I tell you to put them on Maddie. And you can put like your thumbs out or like try your fingers in, thumbs out. That looks good.
Okay, so this is my session spiel. I always give, them the like, hey, I'm going to do all the work. All you need to do is listen and have fun. And then I give one modeling tip to him and one modeling tip to her. When I was at the beginning of my business, I used to give like a ton of modeling tips to both, but I found that they were so in their head throughout the whole session because they were trying to do it perfect that they didn't have fun and they didn't, actually enjoy the session. So my one modeling tip for him is to keep his hands in his pockets unless I tell him to put them on her. My one modeling tip for her is to keep her weight in her back leg away from the camera, furthest from the camera. And that's going to give her the pretty feet and it's going to make her hips look a lot smaller. So also right here, she's telling me that it's hard to walk and, that her dress is really making her feel insecure. And so again, anytime that anything like this happens, I'm thinking like, okay, that's going to limit our walking. That's going to limit her twirling. That's going to limit him lifting her. And that's why you guys sending that style guide is so important. And I think I failed here because I did not send them the style guide this time because this is their third engagement session with me. And so they've been through this before. And so I think I just was overly confident that, they, were going to wear better clothes. Not that this is not good, but anyways, this is again just where I feel like it's my fault. Why she didn't have a better dress. And then just right here, I just asked if she had a side, and she does have a side. Her right side is her side. And so, I went ahead and switched them there. We're going to start with a walking warm up, even though she said that she can't really walk well. And I just am coaching her to let them know that they only have to walk maybe like 2 or 3 feet in front of them. And then another quick tip, if you're just in a really harsh terrain, like in the mountains or where it's really rocky and they can't walk, but you want walking photos, they can walk in place. So if you just find one flat surface, they can walk in place and you still get that same effect.
And is this able to switch at all? To lift it? Let's do that. Pick it up like right around here. And you'll do some just like elbow to wrist, swishing. And so what I'll have you do is hold hands, your hands in your pocket, You're going to be doing some elbow wrist switching. Y'all are going to be looking at each other, smiling, giggling. And again, like you only have to really walk. Throw that over here. So if you're holding hands, you'll only have to really walk like 1, 2, 3 for me to like get those like walking looking shots. So maybe like 3 steps.
Okay.
Forward.
3 steps, a lot of movement.
Yeah, 3 steps, a lot of swishes, a lot of giggling, and I'm gonna be snapping away. And then Maddie, the other little trick is to just put your foot crisscrossing each other like that.
Okay.
Instead of like walking like this.
I have a little.
Okay, I'll look out for that. Yeah, it looks really cute. Okay, so I have my really long lens on, so I'm gonna like be screaming at you way over there. It's like my really long skinny lens. But I'll be coaching you throughout the whole thing. But all you have to do is look at each other, smile, and we'll take like 3 slow steps and lots of swishes, lots of giggling at each other. All right, so let me just get my camera settings together. Oh, this is so pretty. All right, one more. Let me try. Okay. All right, guys, this is beautiful. So we are looking at each other. We are laughing at each other and slowly walking toward the camera, and we are swishing and giggling and mocking, and we are swishing that dress, girl. Good, and we can stop right there. Perfect. You guys, this is so pretty. So pretty. This actually looks really good in pictures. I love these ruffles. It does a lot. Okay.
Some editing here.
So, as if, whatever. Okay, so y'all can just stay right here. Y'all don't have to like walk back or anything.
Did I get swishes in?
You did. You swished your little heart out and it was perfect. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you hold on to his bicep instead of his hand. And you can put your, yeah, that's perfect right there. That hand kind of a holder on. Yep, that hand goes in your pocket. We're gonna still swish with this other hand. Yep, and we're gonna do the same thing. You got it? There we go. Right, I'm gonna pull it down a bit. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Put a little bit in the front, a little bit in the front. There we go.
It's tough being a girl.
It's tough. We have so many things. Y'all just have to wear a shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
A shirt that matches.
All right. So we are gonna do this one more time. And Maddie, can I actually?
Am I sideways? I don't know.
You're more towards. Sorry. Wanted to fix your little hairs. Okay. All right, guys. We are looking fabulous, and we are looking at each other, and we are swishing and giggling and laughing at each other. We love our swishy dress so much. Good. We can stop right there. Good. Oh, that was so pretty. So cute. Look how cute you are. Okay. Let's go back like maybe 5 steps. How's your feet?
Good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's a hole.
If there's a hole, I fall.
You don't want to do that.
Okay, so now we're gonna do some like portrait stuff for grandma. We have to stop right here. That's good.
I don't care about holes.
You're good. We'll come to Maddie. There we go.
So earlier in the day, we actually did a lifestyle session, which is in the posing course. But we wanted to do this session to give them some more portrait poses. You know, some of them just, you know, holding hands, smiling at the camera, which is why you're going to see a lot of that. So this is more of a mini session for engagements, which is why, you know, we're not going to be moving locations. This, you know, session is only going to be about 20, 30, 40 minutes long, which typical engagement sessions do maybe an hour to an hour and a half. So I'm going to basically just try to get as many portrait poses as I can of them smiling at the camera, looking at each other, and just kind of rotate her and him into different of the portrait poses that I mentioned in the posing course.
So I'm going to have you guys looking straight at me, and we're smiling. Drop that shoulder closest to me, Maddie. Good. There we go, girl. Big smile. Woo, this light looks good, y'all. 1, 2, 3, we're smiling. Good. Now, Devin, you're looking at Maddie. Maddie's looking at me. And you're giggling at me, Maddie. Good. Now, what I'm going to do is y'all looking at each other for me. There you go. Good. Now, Maddie, can y'all get a little bit closer just like that? I know. Good. There we go. Coming a little bit closer and getting a ring shot real quick. Y'all, my sweat is like eating the camera. Okay, now what I'm gonna have you do is stay exactly where your feet are, and I want you to like hold onto your shoulder just like this. Yeah, the other hand too. Yep. Okay, and what you can do is you put your hands in your pockets. Yep. And you're slightly behind him. Slightly. There we go. There you go. And you're just holding onto your shoulder just like this. You're like that.
Okay, so another just like quick posing tip is it's called split the chest, and this is in the posing course. But basically, I take the groom's elbow or his shoulder and I split my bride's chest with it, and what that does is it basically cuts her body in half. I knew she was super insecure about the middle section, especially how the dress was like pulling and how it was, you know, tighter than she wanted it to be, which is why I kind of placed her behind Devin. And, you know, this, you know, can be for anyone who's just like kind of like insecure with their weight or their middle section. You can just easily cut it in half with the groom's arm, which is what I'm doing here. And then I also just told her to take her elbow away from her body, and what that does was it stopped smushing her arm against her body, and then when she lifts it off of her body, it makes her arm look a little bit slimmer.
It's fine. We will have to sit back or sit down. So what I'm gonna have y'all do is we're gonna take a little break from posing, just so because I know it's hot. So what I'm gonna have y'all do is do a little slow dancing, just to kind of like relax.
All right, y'all, it is freaking hot. Like, I don't even know if I can really explain how hot it is at this session. And so my mind was racing. I knew I couldn't really do any more portrait poses because they needed a break. They needed to just stop posing, because that posing takes a lot of energy, which is why I'm having them do a slow dancing. So slow dancing is typically the first playful pose that I do in the engagement sessions anyway, which is great, because we were very limited on the playful stuff that we could do because of her dress, because of her shoes, and now he's sweating. His entire back is soaked, so I knew I couldn't do any of them like walking away from me, which I typically do. I couldn't do any sitting ones because she couldn't sit in her dress. And so I'm like panicking on the inside. I'm trying to do my best to be positive and encouraging and doing, you know, as many creative things as I can, moving my feet, getting different compositions, but I feel like a hot mess right now. So here we go.
Oh, that's so pretty! Now, Maddie, you're looking at me. Oh, no. Pause. Time out. Lipstick. Malfunction. I got it too. That's for the memory book. Alright, so I'm gonna have y'all both looking at me. Woo! No, my hair is like on my back. Looking at me and we're smiling at me. Good. Now, Devin, I'll have you looking at Maddie. Maddie's looking at me. I'll have you giggle down your shoulder, Maddie, and you chin up just a little bit. Good. Now, Devin, you're gonna nuzzle in right there, right to her temple. Perfect. Ooh, Devin going in for the kids. I love it. Good. Eyes at me, Maddie. Good. And you're nuzzling in again, Devin. Good. Did you just... that was so cute. Good. You guys! Woo!
Yes.
You guys, look how pretty you are.
Okay, mama. So pretty.
Oh, you're glowing.
Okay. That was good. Just plenty of some good song there, Devin. Okay, let's.
Are your pants sweat? Are your knees
My legs
sweat?
sweat.
It's fine. This never happened to me. I am
You don't have leg hair.
You won't see it. It's fine. Okay. Now we're gonna do. Right. Let's do the red carpet. We'll do all the snuggling ones first, so we don't have to. We can just go later. Okay. So I'm gonna have you put your belly button to his hip bone. Your arm is around Maddie, just like that. There you go. Yep. And then the weight in the back hip. Pop in that. Yep. You can push your hand in your pocket.
Okay, I get this question a lot, and it's actually a great question. For engagement photos, shouldn't you have the left hand, the ring finger, like out on his chest? And my answer is no. My focus is whatever the bride wants, and the bride ultimately wants her good side in the photos. There's some brides who don't have a side, but Maddie definitely had her specific good side where she felt most confident, that she liked her face and her body the most. And so a quick tip to just combat that is having the left hand, instead of on his back, putting on his shoulder, so you can see the ring coming through that way. So that's a little quick tip from my wedding photographers.
Good. Give her some machine gun kisses right there, Devin. Yes. Good. Whew. And Maddie's like, please, I'm sweating.
Try not to move my legs.
Good. So pretty. Okay. So now what I have y'all do is what I like to call the symbology. So what you're gonna do, Devin, is you're gonna be walking that way.
Okay.
And you're gonna hold Maddie's hand just like this with the other hand in your pocket. And Maddie, what I'm gonna have you do is you're gonna pick up your dress just like this. And you're going to you're gonna be going that way, Devin, and you're gonna be like, I'm coming, honey, here I come. Oh look, is my hand still there? It certainly is. Okay, now Devin, hey, I'm coming, Devin. Just like that. So you're gonna be swishing, looking at Devin, then looking back at your swishy dress. Yeah. Yeah, and you're looking at her the whole time, Devin. Your job is easy. Okay, so I'm gonna, you'll take like maybe 4 steps that way.
Okay.
I'm gonna be way back here.
Okay, so I started seeing sweat on her face and sweat coming through the front of his shirt, and then he just finished telling me that his pants were now sweaty and wet. And so I knew I couldn't have them sit. I knew I couldn't have close-ups. I knew I couldn't, have them do much. I knew that he couldn't turn around because his back was soaked. And so this was basically my final attempt to get something. And this is the Come Follow Me. It's a playful pose. It's in the posing course. I teach it in the posing course for our engaged couples or for our moms and dads. This is one of my favorite poses to do, my favorite playful poses. And this was just my attempt to get something that was kind of pulled back but still pretty and romantic without showing any kind of sweat.
That was beautiful. Okay, we can't screw this up because it's the only one. It's the only one we got. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so if our session couldn't be any more of a hot mess, here we go. They spotted one of these, what is it, a dandelion? And so they wanted to take a picture with it. I had this like vision where I would lower my aperture all the way to 1.4. It would be like a blow thing where they would giggle at each other. The dandelion petals would be all up in the camera lens. Like, this was my vision, like on the spot. I was like, this is gonna happen. But it just didn't work out. And you know what? This is just very on brand for this shoot, and it's okay. It's totally fine. We couldn't redo it because that was the only dandelion left. But again, it was fine. I figured, why not? And here we go.
One more time. Do a little bit
so cute.
Get it on.
That was so
Tried.
cute.
We blew hard on one movie.
That was so cute.
I thought they were gonna like go forward, you know.
I know. I
and
thought it was gonna be like a magical dandelion.
then until like the last one, and I blew it that way.
It's okay.
It worked.
It worked. It's fine. Okay.
We had
it
to
was-
take the opportunity.
It was probably a little wet, so.
Okay. So that was fun. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do now. I want you to go belly to belly. And pull.
Make sure you get some airflow.
Get some airflow. Get the sweat
I
out.
have no
first.
airflow.
Okay, so your weight's in your back hip. Boom, popping that front leg. Devin, you're holding around her tiniest little waist, pulling her nice and close. And then, Maddie, I'm gonna have you bring your arms just like this. Bring that right hand down, just like this. Yep, right hand down, just like on maybe. Yep, there we go. Back hand is behind his neck. Perfect. All right, now y'all's heads are looking at me. Together. Got it.
Keep sticking around.
When you put your elbow on top of his, I'll kind of like, yeah. Even feeling out a little baby muscle there. All right, let me get my little reflector. Okay. I love Louisiana. All right.
We were supposed to take these ankles.
I know. All right, so heads looking at me, but our heads are close together. Yes, perfect. And we're giggling at me. Good, Maddie. I love that shoulder. I know.
I'm like,
every time I see like the shoulder up, she's like, whoa. Perfect. Okay. All right, one more time. And we are loving each other. Oh, pretty. Good. Now I'm gonna have you do is, y'all look at each other just like that. Good. Maddie, put your right hand like framing his ear around his jawline. Good. And we're gonna bring him nice and close. Not kissing yet. Not kissing yet.
Okay, so anytime you have a
Sway
portrait
little bit, rock
pose,
and sway,
moving
rock and
them
sway.
helps it create a more authentic look. And so even if you do like, you know, belly to belly, or even if you do like the red carpet, or if you do the prom pose, if you get them to move slightly, it'll just create a little bit more authenticity.
Devin, I want you to go in for a little nuzzle right here. Maddie, you're still looking at me. Good. And Maddie, now I want you to giggle like down your shoulder while Devin is nuzzling. Yeah, so your eyes will fall right here. And you'll just look down like that.
Like this still?
Yeah. Actually, bring your hand down to his shoulder. Yeah. Perfect. I keep.
He's so good with that
Good.
shoulder.
All right, now you're looking at me, Maddie. Good. Chin up just a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know if I should smile.
Yeah. You can go and smile and giggle at me. Good. Beautiful. Are you okay? We can pause.
Okay guys, so we ended up stopping the video, obviously. He was eaten up pretty bad, and we thought that it was a good opportunity to stop, regroup. We ended up going back and letting her change into another dress. She actually came to my house and I gave her one of my dresses to put on, and we finished the session on the front porch of my house. And so you guys, I mean, it was one thing after another. Even Thomas got poor Thomas got bitten by a fire ant. You know, I don't know if you could tell I wasn't on my A game. But at the end of the day, like, this is real life photography. Like, this is stuff that happens to you. This is stuff that happens to me. It's not always glamorous. It's not always Pinterest worthy or Instagram worthy, but as artists, as professionals, like, we have to kind of step up our game, try to create and get what we can with what we have. And so again, like, I love Maddie and Devin. You've seen them in other videos. They've come to one of our workshops as models. And so thankfully, they were really easy clients. She's like my little sister, and we just love them dearly. And so anyways, I hope this video was, this, very realistic behind the scene video was beneficial for you. It was helpful for you. You were able to get some nuggets. You were able to take some notes, and get some good takeaways out of just one of my probably worst sessions, not because of them, but because of me. Probably one of my worst sessions to date. So if you have any questions about this video, about engagement sessions in particular, just comment below this video and we would love to discuss. If not, I'll see you in the Facebook group, and yeah, just get ready for more videos.